Hi, everyone. Uh, Good evening. Welcome back to the series of research talks. Today is our third session. Without delaying, I would like to invite our resource personnel, Mrs. Mihirani Disanayaka, CEO and Director of Survey Research Lanka, to start the today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Doctor. Right. So are we to wait till others come or can we start?
Yes, ma'am, can start. They have to be
Yes.
on time.
Right. Okay. Before we start today, I just want to know how many of you have got the assignment and the research brief that I have shared?
We received it, madam.
Note on the chat box. Have you got, you had time to go through that? Yes, Arundika has got it, and hope you have gone through Arundika.
Yes, madam, we received the assignment.
Right, right. Okay, I guess everyone would have received the assignment and the brief that I have sent. I have sent a research brief for all of us to do an activity and an assignment. Basically, the assignment is, I'll take you through the assignment first before we start the session today. Let me share the screen. Doctor, can you give me access, please? If you can take your screen out, I will probably get the access. Thank you. Okay, so this is the research brief that I have shared with all of you. And actually, this is a real brief that a client had shared with us for confidential purpose. I have changed the brand names and the company names. I didn't want to change it drastically because you should understand at the end of the day what it is. So I will take 5 to 7 minutes to take you through the brief, and the assignment is you have to evaluate the brief with its explaining the positives and negatives of a brief based on what we studied last session, right? Okay, so this brief has been shared by the manager consumer insights of the organization. Yeah, and the brand manager had given the request to the manager consumer insights in the particular organization, and the brand that they are interested to research on is ProTea milk tea product. It's a milk tea product that they are going to it is there in the market. What they're trying to do is to change the product to suit the palate of the customers, right? And the category is milk tea, and agency, for all the agencies this brief has been shared, and the date of the brief that was sent, right? And the project title, consumer preference on new ProTea recipe versus the current one, meaning Proti is a current brand which is there in the market already. So what they have done is they have made a change to the recipe. Now what they want to do is they want to test the current recipe versus the new recipe to understand how would be the preference toward the new one versus the current one. Okay, and background has been given by the company based on the internal discussion that we had. And if you want more details, my number is given below and my email address is given below. While you're writing the assignment, you can reach out to me if you need more details about the brief. And marketing objective is given over here to further improve product delivery with a view to invest as a long-term, larger scale business opportunity. Basically, what they're trying to do is to increase the customer base to gain a quantum growth for the brand by changing the recipe. And their hypothesis is they think that the new recipe is going to appeal most of the customers than the current brand in the market, current product in the market. So action standard, these are words that we use in the market. What they on action standard is the basis in which they are going to decide whether to launch the new product or the whether to go back to the current product or do any revisions to the new product further before they launch. That is the action standard. Based on what action standards that they are going to decide launching on this product. For an example, in this case, the action standard would be if the current product, current Proti recipe is preferred by majority than the, new Proti recipe is preferred by majority than the current product, they will launch the product. That is the action standard. If it is, the preference is more or less same for both the products, obviously they will not because they are expecting a quantum growth, business growth. If the current product is preferred by majority, then they'll go back to the drawing board and think about the Proti recipe again and see whether they want to do any further development. And the research objectives is very clearly articulated over here in point forms. And methodology is quantitative, what they have suggested. And sequential monadic approach, they have suggested approaches also. You don't have to worry about this approach, just consider it as quantitative for the sake of the assignment. And they have suggested the sample size as 150 and target group is given over here. And let me explain the target group. Gender, both male and female. Age from 18 to 35 years old people are going to be the target group for whom the product will be placed at the test level at the research. So they will be given the product for them to taste the current versus the new one. Social demographic. In research, there is a classification that we do to understand different lifestyle groups into the sample. Social economic classification is the name of the classification. We do classify households based on the household's main person, main wage earners, main income earners of the household. That particular person's highest level of education and occupation will give this classification. We will talk about this if we get a time, but right now don't worry about it because they have already given the social economic classification considered for this study is SEC ABC. I'll do a separate lesson on this because this is very, very important for any person who comes to the marketing and the industry to understand, because everything is about people and we need to understand the segments in the society. And the regular milk tea consumers is the other preferred segment that they want to test this product among. So this doesn't mean that they want to go for Proti current users. This is normal milk tea. Milk tea consumption is very high in Sri Lanka. So anyone and everyone would be considered for this study, but we will have to qualify them based on the frequency of consumption that they do. And the area of interest is Colombo district, both urban and rural areas. They want to get consumers for the research for them to take a solid decision. And the products, they will be giving the products for us as in the research agency to do the product test, both the new recipe as well as the current recipe in the market. There's a word called blind format over here. Blind format meaning the brand roti will be hidden when it is exposed to the customer. Why we do that in research? When brand is exposed, brand will bias the taste tests. So we don't want the brand to bias. We just single variable that we want to test is the taste of the product. Therefore, we take all the other variables blind, make the only all the other variables are make it constant and make the taste only the variable that we are going to test. Okay. And like we discussed, they have articulated the deliverables, what they're expecting from the research agency. It's a PowerPoint presentation. This report should be clearly indicating what actions should be taken by the company and all that is given, and responsibility of the market research agency that they're expecting, and timelines and when the report is expected, and all these details are given. I have given my details over here for your reference. When you are going to write the evaluation, if you need any discussion on the brief, you will have to reach out to me. I'm given my contact details as the manager consumer insights over here, right? Why this is important for all of you? Certain product tests are done internally within organization due to different budget constraints and time constraints. Then in such a situation, you will be given the responsibility of doing the research. Therefore, we need to understand how to go about this kind of research. Okay. Now that is the brief and the assignment that I have sent. Oh, how to go about it? Okay, assignment is very clearly based on what you studied about market research briefs. Evaluate the completeness of the given market research brief. You need to do your evaluation by providing evidences to prove your evaluation. You can say it is good, you can say it is bad, you can say good and bad both, but for both, you have to provide evidences. Why do you say so? And the instructions are given over here, and marks also provided for this. And I'll give you 2 minutes if anyone would have any questions on the brief and the assignment.
So, madam, it means we need to guess the suggestions based on each criterion in the research brief, right?
Based on what we studied about a good research brief characteristics last session, based on that, you need to evaluate this brief.
Yes, what I mean was for each main category, we need to make evaluation like research objectives, product type.
No, it is not what it is written. It is the completeness of it. It's the item. It's the consistency of the brief. You don't have to evaluate what is written in that. If you have to evaluate as a brief, we discuss about couple of things. Things should be there, and in what depth it should be there, etc. For an example, research business objective we discussed. It is very important that we know the business objective. In this brief, marketing objective is more or less equal to the business objective. In that sense, in a good brief, business objective should be articulated. This brief consists the business objective, which will be helpful for the researcher to construct the research. Therefore, this is one good characteristic of this brief, like that. So take it as a whole, don't try to evaluate each and everything. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So I assumed you don't have any questions on the assignment, and 1 week is given for the assignment, and send me at least before Friday. If you need any discussion, any clarification, you can call me. So we'll move into the session today. Let me share the screen again. All of you can see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay. So recap of the last session, it is about the brief, and anyone want to take a chance to brief about the research brief, what we discussed last time? So I'll leave that for you to think about it, because you have an assignment as well. We'll move into the next today's session. It is research proposal, what we are going to do today, right? So when we take a research proposal, it is the most important document of the entire research that we are going to do, right? So the way you see the picture over here, I'm sure this situation is very familiar to young students in the group. So it is about proposing, and the solidity and the seriousness of the proposal is very, very important. The difference from this the proposal which is depicted in the picture versus the research proposal is, everything in a research proposal is articulated and shared with all the stakeholders before we start the research, right? So research proposal is nothing but a document which will bring everyone onto the same page. Now, there was an internal discussion in the company to come up with the research brief, right? Now, the research brief is discussed with the research agency or the internal team who's going to do the research. Now, there are miscommunication, even though it is communicated through a document or verbally, there can be miscommunication if we try to avoid writing a research proposal but jumping into a research from the research brief. What will happen is, we will go from research brief to research. We will end up in making a lot of assumptions which will misguide us. Therefore, research proposal is written to guide all of us into the same direction. So all the assumptions and everything what we have, doubts, questions, everything should be clarified before we write the research proposal. Therefore, a significant time should be allocated to discuss the research proposal between the team who's going to do the research versus the user of the research. We spoke about the user of the research at the end of the organization. One person might be writing the research brief, but the user of the research findings would be the MD or the CEO or the category manager or the brand manager. Therefore, we need to bring all the stakeholders to the same page. Therefore, writing a research proposal is very, very important. In a research proposal, we need to cover these three things precisely. What is the research all about? How we are going to do the research? These are the key two things that we need to cover in a research proposal. And for both of these, what and how, we need to justify answering why we do what we do, why we do how we do things, right? For an example, what is the research, right? If we take ProTip research brief, what is the research all about? What we understood from the brief that is what we are going to execute in the research. So that is taken to the research proposal. So once we have submitted the proposal, user will read the proposal and see whether the researcher or the person who's going to do the research have understood it right, what the research is all about. How the research is going to be executed. Now, most of the research brief will have the methodology and approaches given, sample sizes, target group, and most of the things will be given as we discuss. However, all the given methodologies and designs will not be the most suitable research design for the to answer the business problem or the research questions. Therefore, when the research brief is given to the researcher from the company with researchers' experience and understanding, if there are any changes to be done, how we have been asked to do the research through the brief, we will be changing. We don't have to stick to the same way in which the client or the company is suggesting us to do the research, because they are coming to a researcher to expect a solid design for the research, ultimately to achieve the business objective. Therefore, we need to argue and describe the right suitable research design over here. That is how we are going to do it, what is the design, how we are going to do the data collection, what is the sampling, and how much we are going to cost, what is the timeline, and all these things, why we need to justify. Everything in a proposal we need to justify. If we look at the proposal or the thesis proposal that you are writing, it is very difficult to the industry, the research proposals that you see in the industry, right? If you want to talk about what would be the structure of the proposal that you would be writing for your thesis, what are the key components? Let me pick a friend today. Chanaki, unmute your line and tell me what would be the coverage, or what are the areas that you're going to cover? Chanaki.
We have to cover.
Yes, Chanaki, tell me.
Problem statement. Hello?
Forget about the proposal. In a thesis, yeah, problem statement. Yes, Chanaki, I can hear you. Yeah.
Hypothesis testing.
I can hear you. Yeah. Chanaki, talk. We can hear you. Go ahead. Yes.
Literature review. Hello?
Yeah. Tell Chanaki, we can hear you. Yeah, literature review.
Observation.
Yeah.
Methodology.
Sumudu. Methodology, yes.
Data collection.
Data collection methodology. I didn't hear fully. Some difficulty with your connection, I guess. Ishara, I will give you the chance to talk about the areas in a research thesis. Ishara.
Madam.
Okay, can you quickly, all of you put notes on the chat box of areas in the thesis proposal? Yeah, research objectives, hypothesis, method. Somebody else? Arundika is the one who's responding most often. Somebody else, please. Can all of you hear me, by the way?
Yes, madam, we can.
I don't think everyone can hear, Doctor. Their lines are big. It's okay. If you don't hear, let me know. I'll share some notes. Right. Okay. Now, research objectives are there, literature reviews, problem statements, the method of data collection, findings and conclusion, research design, and all these things coming in, right? Okay. If you look at a research brief that you would see in industry, most often cases, you will not see these same words like problem statement, you will not mostly finding it, right? However, problem is explained under different chapters. We will talk about that. Literature review is the key difference. Now, when it comes to research in the industry, researchers are done by professionals and experts. Literature review, specifically in market research area, literature review is used very less, because the problem statement itself is very specific and inward looking, as in it is about a product or a brand or a market. So very specific objective, as we discussed earlier. So literature reviews are used very less in the industry. However, when it comes to research, like, for an example, COVID impact for small, medium businesses in the country, or, economic, political status in the country. These type of researchers, those are called social and political and economic research. There we use a lot of literature reviews, right? Desk research, secondary data collection, and all that. And other sections, more or less same, but the way in which we write is different. When we write the research proposal, we'll get a good understanding of that, right? Now, these are the sections that we're going to cover. Now, if you look at the characteristics of a good research proposal, it has to be, if you look at it, simple, holistic, accurate, relevant, and problematic, right? These are the words that I can talk about as good characteristics of a research proposal. It says sharp. Research proposals should be very sharp. and precise, sharp and precise, no confusions, no jargons. It has to be to the point very clearly. Even assumptions are made, assumptions should be clearly articulated, right? This is not different from the thesis that you are writing versus are writing. These are the characteristics of a good proposal. When we say simple, it goes to different angles. If you are writing a Word document as a proposal, simplicity and the guidelines, like the fonts that we are choosing, indenting that we are doing, numbering, bullets that we are using, and English and the grammar, everything has to be very clean and neat and simple, right? And that is about for any document, there's other good guidelines that we need to work with, that we are going to do. Clarity of thought. In a researcher mind, when we have read the research brief, we need to draw the research flow very clearly, and very clearly the thoughts has to come in. Okay, this is the problem, this is the research that this problem will be solved, like that. Clarity of thoughts in the researcher's mind who is writing the proposal is very important when it comes to a research proposal. Otherwise, it will complicate the stakeholders and it will waste all the money and the time that we are spending for the research without clarity. If we start a research proposal or research without clarity of thought, right? So A to Z process should be nicely articulated. If there's any confusion, we need to clarify before we write the proposal. And when we are using jargon, when I say jargon, we use different, marketing words and theories and, matrices and all these things. As far as we have clear definitions or the statements given to clear the jargon, we can use the jargon. But good proposal has very less jargon. Even those jargons should be defined very clearly to the reader. Otherwise, what will happen is, in the process of reading, the user will think, okay, this team has not understood the research brief very clearly, so this is not the best team for our research. Like that, they will reject, or they will evaluate you. If you are going to be a junior in that team and doing a research, they'll evaluate you on that basis. And now, when you are writing the research proposal, you can't be thinking of one person who's going to read the proposal. Once you have written the research proposal, think that anyone and everyone should be able to read and understand the research proposal at any given time. Even after 10 years of the research, if somebody opens the research proposal, they should be clearly have gained an understanding of the research. That is the simplicity. And when you are writing the thesis research also, this is very important. Clarity of thought, don't complicate. Once somebody has read your thesis, the reader or evaluator or professors, doctors have to get step by step, very simple flow of your story. People don't like to read a lot. Therefore, you have a word count in your thesis. You have to write that word count. However, when the story is complicated, you will lose your marks, because the people will not enjoy reading your complicated thesis if it is not done with the right clarity of thoughts. Okay? And the next one is holistic. Holistic meaning every element which is important should be there in the proposal. We can't be missing anything, right? So the coverage of the proposal from the time the brief, our understanding of the brief, till the time how the deliverables are going to be look like to the client, we need to flow it very nicely and give a complete proposal. We'll go into the complete proposal component in a while. So that is the second characteristics of a good proposal. And the third one, most of people get wrong here, which is the accurate. Now, when it comes to experts, they do make suggestions or statements based on their knowledge, their expertise, right? So that is perfectly fine, because when they are reading the proposal, they know that so and so has written this proposal, therefore he or she is expert. So the statements she is making must be fact basis. However, whoever is going to write should be supported by facts. The facts can be coming from research brief or else previous research work that we have done for that particular company or some other company or that particular brand or category, or else you can refer it to any internal discussions that you would have internally with the company and category managers and brand managers. Everything should be backed by facts. If anything is not sure about, or else you don't have facts to prove all the statements that you are writing, you can call it an assumption and to be discussed with the stakeholder group. Always you need to have the to be discussed with the stakeholder groups. But definitely in your thesis, you can't be wrong in any of the statements that you are making. Any of the statement, definitely. Because in your thesis, you don't get a chance to discuss with the evaluator. Everything should be discussed with the supervisor and put it in an accurate with the source and with the right facts, right? And the other one is relevancy. Relevant is, for an example, if we take the Pro-T brief that we have, we can't be writing the, milk tea market in the world and this is how it has evolved and all that. In your thesis, what will happen is, I also have gone through this thesis writing, therefore I know this. To catch up the word count, what you will be doing is, you will be writing lot of things, but the relevancy of the chapters are not there, therefore you will lose marks. Same way, in the proposal, research proposal in the industry, relevant facts and relevant statement, relevant paragraphs also should be there in the research brief. Otherwise, it will complicate and the simplicity will be lost if you don't have the clarity of thought and the relevancy of all what you are writing. And the last point is pragmatic. When it comes to the industry is always pressured by the time and money for any research that they are doing. Most of the research that are coming to us are the requirements that they had to complete the research yesterday. That is how the research briefs are coming to the industry, coming to the agencies. Or else the marketing manager, category manager had this idea, but the MD asked where the report is, then only the category manager, brand manager remembered, oh, I need to do this research. So they rush to the research and time is really, really precious. That is one reason why the time is important. Second reason is, market is changing. It is diverse, changing every moment. If research in the industry is going to take a longer time, when the findings comes, that findings is irrelevant for that market, right? Therefore, the decisions that we are going to take based on the research proposal is irrelevant. Hence, the time is important. As soon as possible, but with the right rigor, right standards, we need to do the research. But for that, we need to be pragmatic, meaning we have to be, to meet the timelines, we have to choose practical methods and designs, while we have so many advanced methods and designs, but in the industry, to catch up the time, to make it relevant for them when they want to take decisions, we need to choose practical, doable designs and methodologies, and we can't be, if the time is pressured and if it is not really Without that also we can give the same answer to the client, right? That is what it is. So, and methodologies have been put and all that, we can't be choosing very complicated designs in research proposals, right? So, any thoughts from anyone? Any clarifications? No clarification as always. Yeah? You don't enjoy talking to me or what? Doctor, all of them must be sleeping. Both of us are getting.
No, madam, it's not like that.
Not for you. You always talk, Anrutika. Okay. So I hope because it's lot of research proposal is a topic that I can teach you for a month or two, that I'm trying to combine everything into one and simplify. Therefore, if you don't understand anything, please raise your hand or put a comment, so I'll pick it up. Okay. So that is about the proposal. So simplicity, holistic, accurate, relevant, and pragmatic. We are going to write a research proposal for the same briefs. Therefore, keep this in your mind. At the end of the day, proposal has to be a very sharp and precise proposal. Any stakeholder in the industry, in the category, outside the company should be able to read and understand. Now, the research proposal, as much as it is very, very structured, be it the qualitative research or quantitative research that we are going to do it, research proposal should be always very, very structured. Clarity of thoughts, what we are going to do, A to Z, explain in a research proposal, whatsoever the research that we are going to do. However, it should have a nice design, right? Innovation should be there in research proposals. When we are writing about it, we need to be current, we need to be relevant to the market, we need to be creative when we are writing a research proposal. Definitely in the industry, if we are not current in our thinking and futuristic in our perspective, as well as if we are not innovative, the research proposals that we are writing will not provide that relevance and the attractiveness to the user. Very important, the research proposal should be attractive, and as research agencies, that is the one area we get proposal, we win proposals or lose proposals based on the innovations and the current and the futuristic thought that we have. So as much as it is structured, we need to be very real and current in our thinking and the way we present the research proposal, right? So if we take a research proposal, there are a couple of areas that we need to cover. That is the first point is background. Research proposals are always not written. Research proposals are built, right? Remember that research proposals are not written, research proposals are built. What is the difference? When we are writing research proposals, we can write the first slide and the last slide and the second slide and third slide, or first page, last page, like that. We can fill the sections. We can put background and objectives and like that. We can fill the sections as far as we know the sections. But it's not the way we write a research proposal. Research proposal should be built, meaning based on the background, the next paragraph or the next chapter should be built. And based on that, we will take an output from the second section and build the third section. So like that, it has to seamlessly flow when it comes to a research proposal. This is true for your thesis as well. follow these techniques, you will definitely get high marks for your thesis, right? So the background is the first point. It can be, as I mentioned you earlier, it should be relevant background to the research proposal. It shouldn't be the time the company started and where the category was launched and all that. Those are nice to know, not very relevant. So what is the background to the research? Meaning why this research requirement has come by, what was the journey, and what is the problem or the challenge that they found in the market to come up with this research, and what is the need of this research. That is the background. And the next section is understanding of the research brief. Now in the background, we will be talking about how it came by and all that, but the brief, summary of brief has to be in our words. We need to tell the client or the brand category manager back our understanding of your research brief. Okay, in this background, we understood that you wanted this to happen in the market, a quantum growth, or be the leader in the category. Therefore, right now you have these challenges. Hence, you want to do the product test where you are going to replace the current product with the new product. Like that, very clearly our understanding of the brief, because brief is somebody else would have written. So we are building a research proposal. So we need to convert our understanding of the research brief into the proposal. Third thing is, very clearly we need to, even if it is repeating in the background and the understanding of the research brief, we need to dedicate a section for business objective very clearly. When you are writing a thesis, when you are building your literature review and the business, the background overview of the thesis, you will be talking about this problem statements again and again, right? But still you have a section to write your problem statement. Like that, business objective should be very clearly articulated separately, even if it is naturally it will be repeating in the first section and the second section, but you have to very clearly. So again, to be very clear, business objective that we are trying to do is Pro-T wants to increase their sales by giving more preferred product to the customer, like that. Example. The fourth section is research objective. To achieve this business objective, what research is trying to do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very clearly, there cannot be many research objectives, as I mentioned at the brief section. When we have internal category meetings and brand meetings, people are talking about many things. Everyone is trying to achieve all the questions answered from one research. But finally, we need to have a narrowed version of the brief and clear objectives for the research brief. Therefore, those objectives should be maximum 4 to 5 research objectives in a good proposal or good research, right? Research design consideration. Now, all these sections are informing us certain important aspects of the research, which are very important for us to decide the research design, whether it is quantitative, whether it is qualitative, whether we need to do qualitative first, whether we need to do qualitative first and the quantitative next. Like that, when we are reading on the research objectives and the understanding of brief and all these things, that will give pointers for us to decide on the research design, right? So those are the facts and pointers that we need to very clearly summarize over here. Research design consideration. Before we jump into the research design saying that qualitative, quantitative, and etc. We need to tell these are the points we need to ensure within the research. Therefore, research design is coming next, right? For an example, in the research brief that we have given, it is Pro-T research. So it is the conclusive research that they want. If you read it and see, they want to, from the research, they want one very final question to be answered. Whether I should be launching the new product or not. Yes or no? So one research consideration is when we are deciding the research design, it has to be giving the conclusive decisions to the client. So that is one research consideration. Other one is research consideration is can be when you are reading the brief, you will understand. This research, as a result of this research, client is going to remove the current product in the market and replace that with the new product. Therefore, that is a very important consideration, should be, guiding towards the right research brief. So that is another point. Like that, research considerations are very diverse, very different from brief to brief and research to research. But this important element is there in the research proposals that we see in the industry. Very rarely though, but it's the most important section that we need to have. So research approach and design, where we are going to talk about research approach, meaning whether we are going to take the qualitative route first and then identify nuances and then quantify it, or else whether we are going to do quantitative first and then articulate with qualitative findings, or else whether it is only quantitative required, qualitative required, all these things. In your thesis, you would be finding inductive approaches, deductive approaches, these things. Those are the, like that, what are the approaches that we are going to use for practical research in the industry. And the design is what all design elements that we'll be talking about in detail in a separate session. And then under this small section, separately approach and then research design, we'll be talking about the differences of these things separately. And target group definition, very important, with whom we are going to do the research and why. Don't forget, what and how are two key things, but why is always has to come in each section. Everything, why qualitative, why quantitative, why this target group, why not some other target group. Everything has to be justified. Proposal is all about justification and articulating what it is. And the 10th section is data collection techniques. What are the techniques? Is it, face-to-face interviews? Is it telephonic interviews? Is it one-to-one discussions? It is focus group? It is ethnographies, like that. We will be talking about a lot of data collection techniques later. And the sampling technique and the sample size that we are going to select for the research. Quality control. In your thesis, do you have a section for quality control? Do you have a section for quality control? How the supervisor or the evaluator is going to assess the quality? For an example, have you done 100 interviews, authentic interviews? Have you gone and walked into respondents and done these interviews? Is there a process to do the quality checks in your thesis? Yeah? I don't know. I can't remember. If you can tell me. No quality control processes considered for thesis writing? Quality control processes are the, in your thesis writing, you have this many times you have to go and, get your thesis checked by supervisor, and supervisor will be double check what it is and will ask a couple of questions. And like that, you must have different, quality control measures, which is not articulated in the proposal. But when it comes to industry, quality control is very important. The researcher need to commit that, okay, 150 interviews will be done. Researcher will check 10% of the interviews. Supervisor will check another 30% of the interview, and somebody else will call and check the all 150 interviews. Like that, quality control measures are very important, because these research insights are going to very big decisions of organizations. Therefore, quality control measures are very important. We'll talk about that in detail, as I mentioned. And information areas, what are the questions and information areas that we are going to gather from the research. And responsibilities. it is very important that we articulate the responsibility of the client side and the agency side, or the user of the research and the researcher, even if it is done internally. In this case, in the Pro-T brief, responsibility of the client will definitely give us the blind products in the right format to give it to customers. Like assurance of the product is consumable by anyone, and then it will not harm the consumers, like that. And visiting research discussions to observe the respondents briefing, and all these things are responsibilities of the client. Responsibilities of the researcher is to take the full responsibility from execution to, you know, the and the timeline and the budget are the last two sections. If you see this side, you will get 4 blue shadings. That means key sections in a proposal. That is the understanding of the proposal. This is what it is. This is how we are going to do. And this is execution part. And these are the responsibilities and the budget and time at the section. Details of the execution process. So that is how the industry research proposals are built, not written, and it is lot of rigor and lot of discussions happen in the industry when we are building a research proposal. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Madam, yes, we can hear. Madam?
Sorry, I can't hear you, doctor. I hope you're there.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Madam, මට ඇහෙනවා madam මාව ඇහෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඇයි දන්නේ? මට ඇහෙනවා madam. Oh, yeah, ma'am, මට ඇහෙනවා. Oh, madam. Okay. Are there any questions? Are we audible? Students, can you hear? No response from the student side.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah, can you hear us? Can you hear?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear?
Yes, yes, Arundika.
Madam, can you please give us a little further description regarding the assignment, because we didn't get it very clearly because it's kind of confusing.
Madam, they need
Which one?
a brief explanation about the assignment.
Regarding the activity, madam, the thing you first discussed before the start with
Okay.
discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Tell me what do you want to understand? Let me explain again. Now, research brief is right. Research brief is given. You want, when we are evaluating, how do we evaluate? We evaluate whether you are good or bad, right? In our evaluation, we tell you're good because of these reasons. You're bad because of these reasons. Like that. Now you learn the characteristics of a good research brief, how you need to write a research brief, what are the components should be there in a good research brief, right? Based on what you studied, now evaluate this given research brief to you.
Okay, madam.
Did you hear me? Clear
Yes,
now?
madam. Yes, madam, I heard. We got it. Thank you, madam.
Hope others can hear. Arundika, if you can ask others as well, because I can't hear some of the students and I can't hear doctor as well.
I think your voice can be heard by others also, madam.
Everyone, no? Okay.
Dear Madam, hope that there are no any questions from the students. So today's session also indeed very much useful and able to enhance the knowledge of our students. So I must really thankful for your immeasurable contribution, Madam. I take this opportunity to thank all the participants as well. We will meet again next Saturday at the same time from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Thank you again and good night.
Thank you, doctor. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, madam, and thank you.
Good night.
Night, madam. Thank you.